Which of these stories will you be talking about tomorrow? The anthrax attacks, nearly 7 years after terror by mail. It was reportedly an inside job by a top government scientist inside our own biological warfare lab in Maryland. The suspect reportedly identified, the FBI readying criminal charges, and the man suddenly dies of a prescription drug overdose, an apparent suicide.
Well, the FBI's been here for about a year. I mean, we knew that they have been here for a long time. I would see them all the time.
For motive, for explanation, there are few options, and all of them are terrifying, including why people like U.S. senators were saying this in 2001.
There is some indication, and I don't have the conclusions, but some of this anthrax may, and I emphasize may, have come from Iraq.
David Willman of the Los Angeles Times, who broke the story of Bruce Ivins, and investigative journalist Gerald Posner, our special guests. Big oil and big policy changes. Obama proposes not a gas tax holiday, but a $1,000 energy rebate, and who should be funding it?
That's why I'm proposing that we pay for the rebate by taxing the windfall oil profits of companies like ExxonMobil.
Walmart chooses sides, warning its store managers and department heads at mandatory meetings Obama would make it easier to unionize the chain. Is Walmart ordering its employees to vote Republican? Worst, the Bushes phone in to wish happy birthday to comedian Rush Limbaugh. The former president doesn't know he's on the radio when he lets some kind of cat out of the bag and asks Limbaugh, "Do you see our man Ailes at all?" And they've hit him for being too black, too white, too proud, too socialist, too appeasing, too famous, too different, too popular. And today the Murdoch Street Journal actually says Obama is too skinny to be president. Cue the strawberry milkshake at the farmer's market.
I'll tell you what, you have one a day of these, though, I'll gain a little weight. I won't be as skinny as... Right, that's what I'm saying. I won't be such a skinny guy.
All that and more now on Countdown.
You guys tried one yet?
Good evening. This is Friday, August 1st, 95 days until the 2008 presidential election. To that topic presently. First, if reporting by the Los Angeles Times today is even remotely accurate, the questions about the anthrax attacks, which terrified this nation late in 2001, the Andromeda strain, the 1971 film about American biological weapons killing Americans. Let's play oddball. We begin on the internets and a cheerleader, unfortunately kneeling out of sight behind that school banner, getting flattened by a linebacker. She's all right, folks, but this is part of a wider trend. Last year in Auburn, Washington, a last-minute adjustment to the banner left another cheerleader dazed and confused. Don't ever do that. Though at least the player who knocked her down stuck around to make sure she was okay. No such chivalry for this unfortunate young lady. Her assailant just stands up and exits stage left to rejoin the team. What a gentleman. To Warwick, Rhode Island, and the annual Dance with Your Dog competition. Contestants and their furry partners come from all around the world to strut their stuff for the judges. And yes, here it is. That's what Senator Rick Santorum warned us about. Has Walmart ordered its employees to vote only one way in the coming election? Billo crows about the ratings and then gets them wrong again in Worst Persons. These stories ahead, but first time countdown's top 3 best persons in the world. Number 3, best throwing of stones from inside the glass house. Michael Goldfarb, a spokesman for Senator McCain, excoriating the New York Times for calling McCain on his lies about the race card in the paper's blog rather than in the paper itself. Goldfarb also dismissed the average Daily Coast diarist as, quote, sitting at home in his mother's basement and ranting into the ether between games of Dungeons and Dragons. Goldfarb, of course, writes the McCain campaign official blog. Project much, buddy? Number 2, best playing of the witch card, Congressman Tim Walberg of Michigan, the only one of the 43 members of the House Education Committee to vote against the reauthorization of the Head Start program. He has explained that a provision in the bill does not permit faith-based organizations running Head Start projects from hiring only those of their faith. So, say, if a Catholic church with a Head Start program got a job application from a Muslim or, quoting Walberg, a Wiccan from a coven in Ann Arbor, they couldn't turn them down. Congressman, you got some kind of witch infiltration in Ann Arbor? You turned me into a newt. And number 1, best business up front, party in the back. Politico.com reports that about 100 members of the Business Association, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, had quite the night at a D.C. sports bar this week called The Exchange. They ordered 100 people. 208 mixed drinks, 111 shots, 43 margaritas, 11 open bottles of liquor, 37 bottles of beer, and 155 pitchers of beer. The tab was $8,204. At least it was from some good business cause, right? Some lobbying effort, loosening up some foreign money. Actually, no. It's the celebration of the conclusion of the Chamber Bowl, the Chamber of Commerce's annual softball tournament.
One bourbon, one Scotch, one beer.
Written in 2003 and set in the near future, Jennifer government imagines a world run by American corporations to be our president. Ahead on Countdown. You can almost hear the wheels turning at GOP master control. Wait, I got one. Obama is he's too skinny. And if that doesn't work, we'll say he's too fat. The skinny on the Murdoch Street Journal editorial actually claiming the senator is too fit to be elected. That's ahead with First Time Countdown's number 2 story, tonight's worst person in the world. Number 3, Bello the Clown ventured into the audience estimates again and in the process caught stepping on his loofah. Finally, the ratings for July are in. The TV ratings causing a true reality check for CNN and MSNBC. Fox News ranked number 6 in prime time. That's among all cable channels. CNN, 22, MSNBC, 30, right behind the Tomato Channel. Since I was off for a few days in July, I want to thank Laura Ingraham, John Kasich, and E.D. Hill for keeping the numbers up. I got your reality check right here, goober. In July, Countdown was the number 3 rated show in all of cable news adults 25 to 54 behind Bildo and Hannity. We were the number 2 rated show in all of cable news adults 18 to 49, and we were the number 1 rated show in all of cable news adults 18 to 34, and Billo was 3rd. And since I was off for 2 weeks in July, I want to thank Rachel Maddow for kicking the asses of Laura Ingraham, John Kasich, and E.D. Hill. But don't worry, Bill. You're still dominating that important demographic, 65 to dead. Our runner-up, the gift that keeps on giving, the bizarre Minnesota Congresswoman, Michelle Bachmann, telling Ingram that the Democrats in Congress are so intent on blocking new energy sources that, quote, they won't even pass the tax credit for solar and wind right now. 4 times this summer, the Associated Press reports, Senate Republicans blocked action on the legislation that would establish tax credits for renewable energy entrepreneurs in fields like solar and wind. And when a similar bill came up in the House, Bachmann voted to block it. Actually, Representative Bachmann could herself be the solution to the energy crisis if we could just harness her hot air. But our winners, the family Bush and comedian Rush Limbaugh. The 41st president, the 43rd president, and the innocent bystander, the former Florida governor, phoned into the Limbaugh show today to wish him a happy birthday. What, there's more? That's not enough? Oh, yeah, the current president announced he'd said to his father and brother, quote, listen, we ought to call our pal and let him know that we care. Then he insisted on more drilling for oil. Seriously. Then he put 41 on the phone, and 41 apparently didn't know they were all on the radio. Quote, it's wonderful, and it's great having the family up here in Maine, and all is well. Do you see our man Ailes at all? Ixnay on the Ulls, eh? Bush 41 suddenly got the hint, dropped any further reference to how appropriately Roger Ailes of Fixed News could be described by the Bushes as our man, and instead said, are we on the radio? Are we? I didn't know that. I'll clean up my act here. I'm glad they told me. Well, you know what they say. You can tell a lot about a man by his friends. So, both Presidents Bush and comedian Rush Limbaugh, today's worst persons in the world. How's that? To everybody.
Yeah, only Bill Clinton could work both sides of that, picking out while he exercised. Yeah.
Go for a jog, end up at a McDonald's. Our own Craig Crawford of CQPolitics.com. Thank you, Craig. Have a good weekend.
You too.
That's Countdown for this, the 1,920th day since the declaration of mission accomplished in Iraq. Having never been accused of being too skinny, I'm Keith Olbermann. Good night and good luck.